Well, hello and welcome to part 2. What we have here on number 2 here is the 19-inch Zenith K7000. And for those of you who may not be familiar, the Zenith K7000 is basically a carbon copy of the Wells Gardner K7000, except for some minor oddities, the way they mount the HOT, the way they mount your D18 and some other, they mount these vertically instead of flat on the board. You can see here that they mount these straight up and down instead of flat on the board. So things like that. And it's got a completely different flyback, and this is one of the flybacks that are unobtainium. So if this flyback is bad, this chassis is kaput. There's no way to repair it. They don't offer these. There's no replacement, at least as far as this moment right now. There is no known replacement. So if this is bad, can't do much with it. It is complete. There's nothing missing. I gave it a good look over. So the next thing to do here would be to test all the components for power to make sure it should power up okay. I can't test the flyback. There's no real way to test it. But we'll test everything else. All the caps look good. They're all original. You know, you can tell because they still have the glue on them. So all the caps are all original, but none of them are bulging. They all look in good shape. None of them are damaged. Everything appears to be in good condition, except for this giant spot of corrosion here. So what we'll do is we'll test all of our power components to make sure it should power up okay. If that all tests, nothing tests bad, nothing to give us any indication of something that's gone wrong, we'll clean all this up and then we'll turn it on and see what it does. Because it may not need a cap kit. Well, I mean, it needs a cap kit because they're all original, but you know, I don't like to replace parts just for the sake of replacing them. If the image is great and looks perfect and there's no real reason to do a cap kit, I'm not going to do a cap kit. And of course I can't change the flyback. So if we're lucky, if everything tests good and I get the corrosion cleaned up and continuity and everything works great, I'm just going to power it up. And if the image is good, nice good colors, good screen position, good size, no over bleeding of colors. If everything looks great and everything the way that it's supposed to, we'll just call this one good without doing any work to it. Because like I say, there's no real reason to do a cap kit if it doesn't need one. I don't like, I mean, I'm 50-50. I'm torn with doing cap kits on boards that don't need them because you can sometimes lift a pad or cause a problem that you may not necessarily have had before. And it's not a general or good rule of thumb to replace components that are working. So if everything looks perfect and there's no reason to do a cap kit, I'm not probably going to do one. So, but it's never really a bad idea to do. I keep contradicting myself, but you understand what I mean. Contradicting. So anyway, yeah, let's get some testing done here real quick. I guess let's do the power diodes just like last time. We got D19. That's good. D20. Good. D21. Good. D22. Good. D24, I believe. Yep. Good. And D25. 23, I'm sorry, D23. Good. And then we'll test with the R104, yeah. R104, 15 ohms. Yep, 15.2. R10, or is it 98? Which one is this? R89, I'm sorry, I had it backwards. 89, not 98. This one should be 3.9. If I can get in there. 185? That's not right. Am I on there correctly? Let's see here. Let's get in here. Make sure we're not touching the frame. That's my text message. Sorry. Man, this one is giving me fits here. Here we go. 3.9. Perfect. All right. R101. That's good. Well, it should be 6.8 actually. Usually they're around 5. In circuit, it's usually around 5. Just like that. There you go. Okay. All right. R103, again, should be around 3 ohms. There it is. HOT, it's different on this one, the layout, but it's still, you know, normally you've got the offset, you've got the triangle. You got one here, and then you have the triangle. On this one, they're just all across from each other. So, or in a row, I should say. So if we go back to diode, we go to base, and we go to one end, 0.5, other side, 0.5. HOT is good. Voltage regulator, I'll bet you it's 0.15 again, like the last one. I don't know what I was thinking. Okay, now this is the style with the 5 pins. You can't really see, but on this style, it's not pins 1 and 4 like the previous K7000 in part 1. It's pins 3 and 4. So if we go to 3 and 4, there you go, 0.163, because we're reading through the B plus resistor. So voltage regulator should be good. If we go to the B plus resistor, it should be around 200, I think, on the 19-inch. Yeah, 192. So our voltage regulator is good. B plus pot's good. We'll test our C38 width cap just to make sure it's not shorted. We're not looking for any particular reading specifically. We're looking for a just to make sure it's not shorted. So if we go to C38, it is not shorted, but 1.5 meg is usually an accurate reading, give or take. Our critical safety cap, C36, we go to our diode checker. I think we'll put ground on the ground side. It should read like a diode. I have it backwards, of course. 50-50 shot. There you go, 0.5. Oh, that should be everything that would keep it from powering on, with the exception of the flyback. So that being said, let's check our fuse just to make sure. Fuse is good. I don't remember, was there a tag on this one? I don't think there was a tag on this one. If there was, I don't know what happened to it, but so I don't know the history. I found out that these were all bought in a lot of monitors, and they were never even powered on. They were just purchased in a lot, and they were sent to me to do some testing on. I'm only going to be able to test 5 of the 7. One of them I don't have a compatible tube for the neck, and the other one is missing the remote board, so I can't test it. So, all right, well, let's clean all this up here and then kind of see where we're at, and we'll test it. Now let's get some alcohol here, and grab my brush, and let's do some cleaning. Yeah, that's nasty. Now ideally, you'd want to grab some vinegar to kind of neutralize all this stuff, but I'm not actually sure it's corrosion. I think it's something else that might have been spilled under there that's causing it to look like this. I don't necessarily think it's corrosion in the typical sense, like battery acid or something like that. So for this instance, I think this will be okay. Yeah, we're going to have to do a lot of desoldering and reflowing of stuff like this. Will it focus in? Is it too close? But you can see there, the green crusties are all still there. I don't really... That's a bit better. Yeah, so let's do all of our reflow here. And turn our iron on and our desoldering gun. And I'm going to have to get my fan real quick. I had repurposed the fan for another room. Okay, let's do this correctly here. Put this back out of the way for now. We're done with our meter for the moment. Okay. Yeah, this is pretty nasty here. Just waiting for my desoldering gun. Waiting for the desoldering gun to heat up. While I'm doing that, I'm looking for cold solder joints, and I mean everything looks okay. There's a lot of joints that are looks like they're barely hanging on with solder, but none of them. I don't see any cracks or broken cracks or broken joints. Just a lot of really oxidized and suspicious joints. So anyway, okay, let's grab this and we'll give it a quick cleaning out. Oop. Okay, now let's get rid of what's here. Boy, it's not even heating up. It's so oxidized it won't even transfer the heat. There we go. Yeah, see that whole trace, or that whole pad just came right off. Let's see if I can grab it here. Yeah, the whole pad just came right off. That's how corroded and oxidized this was. So that's a goner. Okay, we're gonna do this one. There wasn't much left of that one. Okay, any other ones I think I should do here? And the rest of them don't seem too bad. I can probably just add solder to a lot of them. Okay. Yeah, I think those sure got hit the worst there. So let's do a little adjustment to that one. We'll have to do the same to here. That should be good. Okay. Let's do this one. Yeah, see this trace has been eaten away, and there's only a little bit left showing here. If you look, can I get closer here? Nope. If you look closely here, you can see that some of the rest of this trace here is gone, and this area right there is gone. Only thing left is this tiny bit right there. So this pad came completely off. The middle pad came completely off, and this one's half the trace is eaten away here by the solder joint. So yeah, this was, I don't know if it's corrosion or what it was, but probably liquid of some kind obviously got spilled on here. So we will bend this over to there. We'll bend this over to here. And we'll bend this one over this way. Alright, so that should be okay. I lost you, there we are. Now let's see if we can make some magic happen here. You want to hold it on here until it heats up enough to stick to the trace. No, it's so oxidized that I don't know. That seems okay, but it's hard to tell. I think it'll be okay. Pins are oxidized too, so you can just scrape away the oxidation. You can see how much shinier that is now. Same way with this other one over here. Alright, let's try that. Nope, it's not going to stick to the trace, it's too oxidized. I was hoping to avoid putting jumpers on these, but I may end up having to do that here. Well, the outer two seem to be okay, it's this middle one that's giving me problems. Oh man, the whole trace is eaten away, and now there's not even a pathway between. You can see right here is where the trace is any decent right there, and it won't even reach the. Yeah, that whole trace got eaten away. Not just the pad, the whole trace. This from this area right there, the trace is just gone. So, can I just make a bridge, or am I going to have to put a jumper? I'm going to have to jumper it. That's okay. Let me see if I can grab one here. Where did it go? Well, that's okay. Let's grab one. Out of here. Okay. Let's see how long this needs to be. I'd say roughly here. Thank you very much. And okay. Eh. There we go. Well, not pretty, but you can't always, it's not a beauty contest. Sometimes it's a functionality aspect. Well, so that should fix that. Zoom back out here. So let's go through and put some solder on some points that don't look so hot. That's better. All right. So some of this stuff doesn't require reflow where you remove the old and add new unless it's oxidized or bad. For the most part, you can just add fresh solder. If it looks like there's not much there and it's about to break or crack, those are the ones you want to add more to. Sometimes you end up doing the whole damn chassis, but it depends on how it looks. Case by case basis, that's actually okay. Off camera there, sorry. That's just the case for R103. Ah, see? Here we go. Here's an example. Header pins, video header pins. Focus up there, there you go. Looks like our red and green are cracked. I don't know if you can see, that's cracked and that one's cracked. The rest are on their way. So that's the whole reason you do this. Alright, should suffice. Anything else real quick? Let's grab this one. This one. This may all be a lost cause if the flyback is bad. But we don't know that yet, so we're assuming it's good. Like I say, this was purchased in a lot of monitors that weren't even ever powered up by the buyer. So I don't know the condition. Those white tags that are on all of them that say, you know, playing blind and whatnot, those were described, those were left on here from when they were purchased, so you have to assume that they are correct. So let's get a tube, get this hooked up and see what we got here. A lot of pretty dusty here on the back of the neck board. Looks okay otherwise. Looks like a small neck connection. We'll verify that. So yeah, let's get a tube, get it hooked up, and fingers crossed it works just fine. We'll get some adjustments made and call this one good, as is. So stand by one moment. Alright, I got a small neck tube, and we'll get this on here. Actually, let me pivot this a bit for you. There we go. So the 19-inch K7000 tube, there's a small neck, which is the tiny neck here. Then there's the one with the larger neck. And in my experience, the smaller neck tubes are much more rare, and the fatter neck ones are more common. So if you have a small, I'd say it's probably a 75-25. It may be 50-50, but in my experience, I almost never run into the smaller neck. It's almost always the larger neck. So your mileage may vary, but this is the smaller neck one, and we'll get this hooked up here. So the yoke is being hooked up. That's on. We got our degauss cable. Even though we don't need it, we'll hook it up anyway. Alright, we'll place this in the rack. Alright. And we'll secure one screw just to make sure it doesn't shift and move and short out on us. Oop. Don't know my own strength. We'll get our anode plugged in. Success. We'll get our neck board plugged in. Success. And then we'll get our DAG ground hooked up. Where are you hiding at? Where are you hiding at? There you are. It's been cut, so I have to strip it here real quick. Alright, mission accomplished. And we'll throw on a quick B-nut, or wire nut, whatever you want to call it. Okay, actually, you know what? Let's do this the right way. Let's get our clamp here under this so we don't damage any, break off any wires while we're adjusting things. Okay, anode, neck, yoke, ground, we're secure. We are ready to test. So let me spin this around, and we'll hook up our test pattern generator. And we are set to standard. We'll go ahead and turn it on. We'll plug in our power cable. It'll let me. There we go. Okay. Let us see what happens. Stand by. Well, just like on the hydraulic press channel, I'll say it like they do. 1, 2, 3. Here we go. Well, came right on. Oh, but we need caps. Something awful. Yep. Let's take a look and see if I can make some adjustments, but that's a cap issue for sure. Vertical size does nothing. vertical position changes. Vertical size does nothing. Black level. Oh, I figured it out. Look at this. If I turn the black level, which is brightness, it moves horizontal. See that? If I adjust vertical position, nothing. Oh, that works, I guess. But vertical size does nothing, and horizontal position does nothing. I think this is plugged in backwards. So I'm going to turn this off. Turn this around the other way. And let's get this situated. Alright, now let's see what happens with it plugged in the, I assume, the correct way. No, no change. No black level. There's vertical position. There's vertical size. And there's H position. So yeah, this was definitely plugged in backwards. It can be either way. You know, this way or this way. So this was plugged in backwards. Let's do... that looks like about where that needs to be. Contrast, brightness, vertical hold. Yep, let's try the 50 to 60 hertz pot just for, well, completeness of testing. Okay, 50-60 hertz pot, adjustment in progress. Nope. Well, caps it is. We'll do a cap kit. I have one left, and we'll see how it turns out. Well, as you can see, I got the caps out doing the cap kit, and lo and behold, I think I found the problem. Pretty definitive smoking gun. If you look right there by C50, that's a lot of electrolyte spilled all over the place. I probably could have spotted it if I had looked a bit closer, because it's leaking here outside on this jumper. But when I pulled the cap off, yeah, there's no debating that this cap was leaking electrolyte all over the place. So, and if it just happens to be right here in the vertical circuit, next to the vertical IC. So I'll bet you, if I was a betting man, this is my problem. So yeah, I was right, it's caps. But like I said before, without powering it up, I didn't know. But if I powered this up and everything was perfect and the image was glorious, I would not have changed the caps, because there's no reason to. But when you have something like this, and we had our vertical collapse like that, partial collapse, I was 99.9999% sure it was a cap issue, and sure enough. So I'll get this cleaned up, I'll get that cap replaced and all the rest of them, and then we'll power it up, and I'll bet you it works. So stand by. Alright, full cap kit installed, we're ready to go. Everything complete, including the filter cap. And the reason the black level doesn't work is because there's no wiring to the board on the connector for the black level. For some reason there's a pot there, but it doesn't do anything because there's no wiring in the circuitry for it. It's just these three. This one doesn't do anything. That's why there's a brightness pot on the main board. So that's why this did nothing. So this was in fact installed backwards, which is very common. So yeah, everything's done. We're ready to go. Got everything re-soldered and reflowed, and let's get it on the tube and see what it does now. Alright, let's see what we get now. I'll bet you it works. Test pattern generator is on. Hey, imagine that. One bad leaky cap. Oh, our retrace lines, or flyback is up too high. You can see the retrace lines. Yeah, you can see the horizontal lines there across. So let's turn our flyback down to get rid of those. There we go. Focus a bit here. That's as good as you're going to get there. Well, there you have it. let's see here. Sorry about that. Yeah, see, black level. Oh, black level does work now. Right about there. Huh. I guess I didn't ring that quite right. Black level does work. Vertical position, vertical size, horizontal position. We'll call that good. Oop. Well, there you have it, guys. Successful repair on number 2. Just needed a cap kit. So, yep. I guess hopefully you learned something. If not, stay tuned for part 3. Maybe we'll learn something on that one. So, thanks for watching and see you on that one. See you on part 3.